Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushak, choose what really matters.
Guess who else wants to speak at the UNGA? The Taliban. They want an invite to the United Nations. Their foreign minister has written a letter to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, and he has made two demands. Number one, to nominate their spokesman Suhail Shaheen as Afghanistan's envoy to the UN, and number two, to participate in the ongoing general debate. The foreign minister Amir Khan Muttaqi wants to make a speech. Will the UN allow it? Well, it looks unlikely at the moment. UN accreditation is determined by a special committee. It has 9 members, including the US, Russia and China. Now, this committee usually meets around October or November. But this UNGA session ends on Monday, so technically it's too late unless the world community bends over backwards to invite the Taliban. Fingers crossed, that won't happen. As it stands, Ghulam Isakzai is Afghanistan's representative. He was appointed by the Ashraf Ghani government. His UNGA address is scheduled for Monday. The Taliban say Isakzai's mission is over and that he no longer represents Afghanistan. And frankly, I don't understand the Taliban's eagerness. They may not have an envoy in New York, but they have the next best thing. They have Shah Mahmood Qureshi, Pakistan's foreign minister. His UNGA mission was off to a rocky start. Pakistan found itself isolated even before the session kicked off. Let me tell you what happened. Nepal was convening a SAARC foreign ministers meeting at the UNGA. One tiny problem. Who would represent Afghanistan? Now, Pakistan's position was clear on this. Invite the Taliban, they said, and keep the ousted government's envoy out. None of the other countries agreed. They refused to invite the Taliban, and so the meeting was cancelled. You could say it sums up the story of SAARC. A grouping full of potential, held back by one member, Pakistan. And just to be clear, none of the SAARC members recognize the Taliban regime, not even Pakistan technically. So what was the hurry to invite them to SAARC? Is it because Pakistan is losing control of the Taliban? Well, that's very much a possibility. Things are not going well between godfather and godchild, or master and proxy, whatever you want to call it. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan is lobbying for an inclusive Taliban government. Not because he loves inclusivity or equality, but because it's easier to market. Here's what he said in a recent interview, and I'm quoting, "If the Taliban do not have an inclusive government and gradually descends into a civil war, that will impact Pakistan. A chaotic and unstable Afghanistan is an ideal place for terrorists." Imran Khan said this. He also slammed the Taliban's ban on women's education. He called it un-Islamic. So where is this criticism coming from? Pakistan is using the Haqqani network to control the Taliban, but their Kandahar faction is unhappy. These are Afghan nationalists opposed to Pakistani interference. Here's what the Information Minister Zabiullah Mujahid said. Pakistan or any country has no right to ask the Islamic Emirate to establish an inclusive government in Afghanistan. And they're not stopping at words. Let me show you what happened at the Torkham border. A Pakistani truck was stationed at the checkpost. It had a Pakistani flag on the windshield. Taliban fighters charged the truck and tore down the flag. Look at how this played out. So much for being a godfather. Pakistani flags being shredded by the Taliban. And what does Islamabad do? Lobby for them at the United Nations. Tells you how the power equations are changing. Pakistan may have cultivated this monster, but controlling it is not going to be easy. And we are already seeing the repercussions. The Tehreek-e-Taliban have stepped up attacks in Pakistan. At least 52 Pakistani security officials were killed last month. Even Pakistani cricket is suffering. 2 countries have refused to play in Pakistan, England and New Zealand. Both cited security concerns. This is the cost of supporting the Taliban. Imran Khan can try to reform them, or say he's trying, but it won't work. Look at their cabinet expansion. Another all-male list of ministers. The Taliban have come with an agenda, and no one, not even Pakistan, they say, can deter them. Their latest target is the IPL, the Indian Premier League. The tournament is underway in the UAE. A few Afghan cricketers are also playing, but back home in Afghanistan, no one can watch them play because the Taliban have banned IPL broadcast. And wait till you hear why. The Indian Premier League has cheerleaders, it has female spectators, not all of them wear burqas, so the Taliban is calling the IPL anti-Islamic content. Just a reminder, the tournament is happening in the United Arab Emirates, a Muslim monarchy that uses the Sharia law. They have no problems with the IPL, but the Taliban do. As we keep saying, this is not about religion or culture, this is about a bigoted vision, a group of power-hungry terrorists with some new and powerful allies. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushaq, choose what really matters.